Does calorie deficit work? How much weight can you really lose by reducing calories? Well, if you're over 50 or 60, that's what we're going to find out here. Now, before I get into the week two weigh in part, I want to touch quickly on the last episode I did the other day called Diet Danger. If you haven't seen it, I'll place a link down below in the description. Now, that episode was not me saying keto is bad or low carb is bad or any one diet is automatically dangerous. The real point was this: do not take any diet for granted, especially if you already have health issues. I think a lot of us, myself included, can get caught up in the weight loss side of it. We see people losing 20, 30, 50 pounds, and we think that's what I need to do. And maybe it is, but before jumping into something extreme, I think it makes sense to pause and ask a few basic questions. Like, do I have heart issues? Like in my case, having this AFib run in. Am I on blood pressure medication or blood thinners? Do you have blood sugar issues or diabetes? And what about kidney problems, cholesterol issues? I mean, it goes on. Name an organ, right? Gallbladder, liver, thyroid, pancreas. We're all seem to be getting treated for something these days. And even if the answer is no to most of that, am I making a change big enough that should at least monitor how I feel? For example, and a great example is if you are on blood pressure medication and you start losing weight, especially rapidly, that's the great thing, but your blood pressure may start coming down quite a bit. At some point, that might mean your medication needs to be adjusted by your doctor. And that's not a bad thing by any means, but it is something that we need to keep an eye on and watch. If you start feeling dizzy, for example, you definitely should be checking your blood pressure on a regular basis. Same with blood sugar. If someone cuts carbs hard and they're on diabetes medication, that can become a real issue. If your blood sugar drops too low too quick, it creates problems. And with my history of AFib, I know now that I need to pay attention to things like electrolytes, hydration. I think it was potassium and magnesium, and more noticing on how my body is reacting to major diet changes. So the lesson for me is pretty simple. Losing weight's important, but losing weight safely is even more important. I'm still going to experiment with these diets. I am still going to try different approaches, but I'm going to do it with my eyes open. And hopefully that's the message people took from the last episode. Now, with that said, let's get into week two. And hey, if you're enjoying these videos, please give them a quick like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the ones coming up. I've got a couple of reviews I'll be doing on a new smart scale and a few other things. But this week was really about seeing if week one was just a big first week drop or if I could actually keep the momentum going. Week one was definitely exciting, but I also know the first week can include a lot of water weight, especially when you're cleaning up the stuff that you're eating. So this week I was looking for something more realistic. Did I stay consistent? Yeah, for the most part, but life sometimes gets in the way of all your plans, of course. So I did not start on the treadmill or working out. That's actually going to start today. I did make better choices. For the most part, no junk foods or fried foods. I did eat out a couple of times and might have overdone it compared to last week. For example, I went to one of my favorite barbecue places here in town. I did skip the pork sandwich and fries. I substituted that with dry rub wings, and they make a fresh pork rind with pimento cheese. It was definitely low carb meal, which is not the goal at this point, but definitely higher in fat than what I was eating most of last week. I'm also noticing my late day or evening hunger is not there anymore, or at least not drastically. It's definitely been reduced. I did buy some fruit, and if I get any cravings, a handful of fresh cherries or something like that seems to solve the issue. What I did notice is I'm eating smaller portions and feeling full sooner. I'm guessing, I don't know if it's a real thing that your stomach shrinks, but that's kind of what it feels like. Let's see, did I avoid turning Any bad meals into a bad day? No, I mean, I really didn't have anything that I would consider a bad meal. The day I had the wings, I didn't eat much of anything else that entire day, so still a pretty good calorie deficit on that day for sure. And most importantly, did the scale keep moving in the right direction? Well, here we go. Let's find out. To refresh, I started this at 300.6 pounds. So my weigh in this morning came in at, drumroll please, 288.8. So, yes, the scale went in the right direction. Uh, Last week I was 291.8. So another 3 pounds, giving me a total of 12 pounds in basically 2 weeks, which that's, I mean, not bad at all, right? That's nearly a pound a day on average. I'm quite happy with that. I'm very, very happy with that. So we're halfway through the first 30 days of the calorie deficit, and it definitely works. So far, I'm still eating pretty much what I want, minus junk food and snacks, but I am way more conscious and aware of what I'm eating. And I think that's the great part of being on a diet, and especially putting myself out here like this, is you definitely got to be a lot more aware of what you're eating if you expect the scale to keep moving in the right direction. Days I don't feel like cooking end up being a frozen Weight Watchers type dinner for the most part, where before I'd be tossing a frozen pizza in the oven. So definitely an improvement there as well. So that's it. Again, be sure to like and subscribe and follow along as I figure out what actually works for a regular guy trying to lose weight. Get stronger and healthy after 60. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about getting better. I'll see you in the next one.